Hello, welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I will be talking about self-abandonment as a sin. Okay, we're going to be talking about self-abandonment on a spiritual level today. First of all, everyone needs to know this. First of all, everyone needs to know this. You're not just you, you're you and yourself. You're conscious and you're subconscious. Some people say you and the infinite spirit within. Some people say you and the God consciousness within, or the unconscious, the subconscious God within. Different in different communities, people say different ways. Or you can say the Christ within. Christians would say the Christ within. Okay. Do not abandon self, because self abandonment is actually a spiritual sin. Self abandonment can actually lead to spiritual attacks. A human being that has never abandoned themselves, either in this lifetime or in their past life, can never experience spiritual attacks. The most common way people attract um, calmer trials and tribulations to themselves is due to self abandonment. Yeah. What is self abandonment? Self abandonment can be defined as starving one's self of one's own needs or desires. So when you start to abandon yourself is when you start to abandon your needs. What your soul needs, you abandon that. That's when you start to abandon yourself. And that is committing sin against self. Sin against self equals sin against God. Remember, I said God within, the God within. So, sin against God within is sin against the universe. Sin against the universe leads to punishment. Punishments can be examples of punishments can be trials and tribulations or hardships of life in general. So, do not abandon self, because self abandonment leads to punishment. Do you understand what I just said? Let me say this again. Self abandonment equals sin against self. Sin against self equals sin against God. Sin against God equals sin against the universe. Sin against the universe equals punishment. And examples of punishments that the universe give is spiritual punishment, which equals trials and tribulations, or in general, hardships of life. So for example, when you abandon your needs and you serve someone else's needs, the universe, the inner child within, which is the God within, this subconscious God within, the Christ within, infinite spirit within, whatever you want to call it, the divinity within, which is the God within you. Some people say inner child. People call it different things in different cultures, in different communities. People call it different things. But for the sake of this video, I would be saying the God within, the subconscious God within. So the subconscious God within gets hangry. And when the inner child, subconscious God within, gets hangry, there is a vibration that it releases into the universe. It releases a vibration of pain, a vibration of you need to be punished. So the God within releases that vibration, and then you attract what you're not supposed to be attracting. So you can say, oh my God, I don't know why I keep attracting this. Something is going on within. The God within is hangry. The God within is punishing you for what you've done to the God within. So when you stay with, for instance, an abusive partner, when you stay with an abusive partner and you allow that sin against self, sin against God within. Some people are masochists. Some people can be with abusive partners, but some people are not masochists. You're not masochist in nature, and you're staying with an abusive partner. By the time you leave that relationship, or just staying with the abusive partner in general, leads to sin against self, because your inner child is going to start getting hurt. And when your inner child starts getting hurt, the inner child is going to pick up on that vibration that you're self-abandoning yourself. You're abandoning yourself to please someone else. So when you abandon yourself to please someone else, it hurts your inner child, right? So let's say you stay with this abusive partner because I don't know why. Maybe you're trying to please them for some reasons that I do not understand. that would be registered in your subconscious. And then the next relationship, the next person you're going to attract after that will be someone that is going to abuse you, because you've trained your subconscious. You've told the God within that that's what you're willing to accept. So then you have to go back and do the inner work. You have to take care of yourself. You have to ask for forgiveness and you have to forgive yourself. You also have to ask for forgiveness from self, which is God within. Sometimes forgiveness is not about forgiving other people. Forgiveness is about forgiving yourself for allowing certain things in your life. Forgiveness is also by forgiving. Uh, Forgiveness is mostly by forgiving yourself. It's not about others. It's about yourself. It's about self. Forgiving self is the most important lesson. The most important thing you have to do is forgive yourself for what you've done to yourself. Ask for forgiveness from the God within. After that, then you can move on and start and then the vibration can change. You see, when you allow bad when you have a bad experience in life, maybe due to your own maybe due to your own fault. When it's your fault that bad things happen to you, maybe you deliberately got into that relationship that you're not supposed to get into. Maybe instead of going after your goals, you did not want to go after your goals. Something that happened to you due to your own fault. You need to ask for forgiveness from self, because self can punish you, which means the God within can actually punish an individual for what they've done in the past. So sometimes it's actually the God within you that's actually punishing you because you lack boundaries. You abandoned yourself. Instead of loving yourself, you're loving others more than loving yourself. Some people are people pleasers. And okay, for instance, you see the reason why people pleasers and good people, they go, oh, why is it that bad things happen to good people? Because you're bad to God, but you're good to everyone else. You're bad to the God within you, and you're good to everyone else. And the God within you is actually the God that rules your life. The God within you is actually the God that governs your life. So when you start being nice to everyone else, but you're not nice to yourself, bad things are going to happen in your life. It's good to be nice to everyone, but self first. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, not more than yourself. So self first. When you put yourself first, it's easier for you to put other people first. When you love yourself first, it's easier for you to love other people, because when you love yourself to the extent that your cup overflows, then you can easily pour into someone else, because you're pouring from an overflowing cup. But when you abandon yourself, you're going to be pouring from an empty cup, because you're not even giving as much love to yourself, but you're giving to other people. That way self punishes you, which is the God within you punishes you for abandoning the God within. Okay, that's another point. Harming yourself equals harming God within. Harming God within equals harming the universe. Harming the universe equals punishment, trials and tribulations, hardships of life. That's exactly what it is. So you want to do something by making sure you do not harm yourself. So you want to make sure you're not abandoning self or harming yourself or even hurting yourself. You just want to make sure you're not doing anything to activate punishment from the universe. Punishment from the universe can come in as spiritual punishment, spiritual karmic debt, or self-inflicted karma. That's the punishment of self-abandonment is basically self-inflicted karma. So you can actually be suffering from self-inflicted karma. It's not about what you did to someone else, but it's about what you did to yourself. Okay, so the important lesson in this video is love yourself. Loving yourself is not only about saying it out loud, it's also about doing the work, acting, making sure you put in yourself, like telling yourself, like, I love you. Not just about saying it out loud, but in action. Love yourself in action, not just in words. Love yourself in actions, not just in words. Okay? And another point is karma, self-inflicted karma. with self-inflicted karmic debts that you have to pay to the universe. Like, okay, you didn't love yourself, you're going to be punished for that. You're going to pay back to the universe. So the universe can also punish you for abandoning yourself, not just by um, hurting someone else, because abandoning self is basically hurting self. Hurting self is a sin. Okay, so in the spiritual world, do not abandon your soul. Do not abandon the first God that you were told to serve, which is the God within you. Do not abandon the Christ within you. Do not abandon the infinite spirit within you. Do not abandon the subconscious God within you. Do not abandon self. Okay, now the first thing you're responsible for is loving the God within you. You're responsible for the God within. You're responsible for self. You're responsible for the subconscious God within. You're responsible for loving yourself first. No one is going to love you better than you can love yourself. And if you do not love yourself, the inner self would not send out the vibration to attract love. So if you're not attracting love, it's probably because you're abandoning yourself one way or the other. You'd be like, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. In another video, we're going to talk about ways you can be abandoning yourself that you do not even know of. We're going to talk about that in another video. But know this, abandoning self equals sin to self. Sin to self equals sin to God. Sin to God equals sin to the universe. Sin to the universe equals punishment from the universe. Okay, you see that cycle? Abandoning self equals sin to self. Sin to self equals sin to God. Sin to God equals sin to the universe. Sin to the universe equals punishment from the universe. That's going to be the end of this video. In our next video, I'm going to talk more about self-abandonment again in another video. Yes, it's going to be a part 2 of self-abandonment. I'm going to talk more about that. All right. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.